matov manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim. Oy, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Shabbat achim, oy, achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim. Oy, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Shabbat achim, oy, achim gam yachad. Chiribim, chiribam, chiribim bam, bim bam, chiribim, chiribam, chiribim bam, bim bam. I chiri very 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 bam. Hine matov manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov manayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim. Oy, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Shabbat achim, oy, achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim Shabbat achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim. Oy, Shabbat achim gam yachad. Shabbat achim, oy, achim gam yachad. Chiribim, chiribam, chiribim bam, bim bam. Chiribim, chiribam, chiribim bam, bim bam. I chiri very 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 bam.
Wonderful. So we hoped you enjoyed that wonderful sampling of photos that Terry Thornton put together for us, and the wonderful music that Rabbi Dina Feingold always provides us to enrich our services. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to, I believe we have members, former members, and friends of the congregation. So thanks so much for being here this evening. I'm Alice Thompson. I'm a longtime member of the temple, of the congregation, and chair of the Rabbi Dina Feingold Spiritual Legacy Fund campaign. And we're very excited to kickstart our celebration this evening in anticipation of Rabbi Feingold's retirement. So a few housekeeping items, I'll repeat them again. The presentation is being recorded so that we can share it with those unable to attend. We hope you'll enjoy listening to the speakers. To help us keep the meeting, we're going to keep this meeting to just a half hour. So we're asking you to mute your microphones, turn off your video. And if you do have a question or comment, and we do want to hear your questions and comments, please use the Zoom chat feature. If we may not get to answering the questions in the chat today, but we will get back to you. We'll either put the answers on the website and or follow up with you by email. So what brings us here this evening is that after 39 years of service, our beloved Rabbi Dina Feingold will be retiring on June 30th. And we've been so blessed to have her for these decades of her powerful, impactful spiritual leadership. As Rabbi Feingold prepares to retire, we reflect on her exceptional career, which has really brought our congregation to a position of strength in our community and throughout the region. Rabbi Feingold became Wisconsin's first female rabbi in 1982 and came to Beth Hillel in 1985. In addition to becoming a beloved faith leader for our congregation, she has been a prominent champion for racial and social justice throughout her career. She has done lots of interfaith outreach. She's been an educator, and she's collaborated with so many people throughout our region. Over the next 5 months, there will be many opportunities to celebrate Rabbi Feingold, her contributions with special services, events, and a gala that will be held on June 22nd. Today, we want to honor her activism, her compassion, and her dedication as we announce the establishment of the Rabbi Dina Feingold Spiritual Legacy Fund. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Eileen Anderson, who is the Vice President of our Leadership Council, to talk about why the fund is so important. So, Eileen, let us see you and hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At Beth Hillel Temple, we have been fortunate to have a powerful, impactful spiritual leader in Rabbi Dina Feingold, who has led our temple for close to 40 years. As Rabbi Feingold prepares to retire later this year, we reflect on her exceptional leadership. To honor her activism, compassion, and dedication, and to ensure the continuation of the temple's ability to serve our vibrant Reformed Jewish congregation and the greater community, we have established the Rabbi Dina Feingold Spiritual Legacy Fund. The purpose of the Rabbi Dina Feingold Spiritual Legacy Fund is to recognize the immense contributions of Rabbi Feingold and to sustain and grow Beth Hillel Temple's capacities for spirituality, engagement, outreach, education, and connection. We want to further the congregation's ability to serve the spiritual needs of the community with continued full-time rabbinical leadership, cantoral services on the holidays, and meaningful, accessible, and relevant services. It is important that we also continue to engage our congregation with innovative, inspiring Jewish programming. We wish to carry on actively leading social justice and to be a force in the community development, as well as collaborate in the interfaith community with continued outreach and dialogue. We must be able to fully invest in quality education for youth and congregants of all ages. We value deep connection among our members and a spirit of belonging, and strive to have strong engagement with our local and regional communities. The financial resources that Rabbi Dina Feingold Spiritual Legacy Fund will provide are essential to Beth Hillel Temple in carrying forward Rabbi's legacy. We want to thank you in advance for your support.
And thank you, Eileen. So I'm very pleased to introduce 3 special guest speakers who have graciously agreed to join us to share their thoughts on Rabbi Feingold's legacy. And I'm going to introduce all 3 now. First, we'll hear from Rabbi Dan Danson, a longtime colleague and close friend of Rabbi Feingold, who will share thoughts about her impact as a leader within the rabbinate. Then we'll hear from John Klaus, whose family founded Beth Hillel Temple and whose many generations continue to be active in the congregation. And our third speaker will be Lori Hawkins, who is the community organizer and executive director of Congregations United to Serve Humanity, CUSH, who will speak about Rabbi Feingold's impact in addressing social justice issues in our community. So please, Rabbi Danson.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here. I'm the Rabbi Emeritus of Mount Sinai Congregation in Wausau, Wisconsin, and it's been my honor to call Rabbi Feingold my colleague and friend for over 35 years. I have to say that through the years, Dina has had a way of making my phone ring many times. For example, hi Dan, Dina here. As you know, I'm now president of the Wisconsin Council of Rabbis, and I was wondering if you would consider serving as the second vice president with a focus on the congregations outside of the Milwaukee area. Hi, Dan. Dina here. We used to have a series of 3 retreats a year where 7th graders from Oshkosh, Wausau, and Kenosha would get together at Osrui. I'm hoping we can revive this at least once a year. Hi, Dan. This is the president of the Central Conference of American Rabbis calling. Dina Feingold is the outgoing chair of our Ethics Appeals Committee, and she put your name forward to serve on it. I'm sure most of you know that when Rabbi Dina Feingold asks you to serve, there's only one possible answer. She is held in the same high esteem among her colleagues as she is at Beth Hillel. When Dina was president of the Wisconsin Council of Rabbis, she began her presidency by proposing the goal of effectively serving Wisconsin's Jewish prison population. Before her presidency, I would have said that the WCR seemed to be prohibited from having a defined goal. By the end of her second term, we'd actually accomplished one. The middle school retreat that I spoke about became our small cities retreat, with Jewish kids attending from Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. And it is an example of the respect her colleagues have for her vision and institution building. And the retreat has served an entire generation. As for her chairing the Central Conference of American Rabbis Ethics Appeals Committee, truly, we rabbis only choose the colleagues we hold in highest esteem to guide our ethics process. Overseeing charges of ethical violations brought up against one's peers is the toughest, most thankless job there is, and it's also among the most essential ones. This is hardly an exhaustive list. Dina was president of the Midwest Association of Reform Rabbis, a visiting scholar at Hebrew Union, Jewish Institute of Religion, and many other things. And you will also hear that she was a trusted interfaith partner in working for social justice. The bottom line is that my rabbinate was measurably better for having had Dina as a colleague and confidant, as were those of rabbis, ministers, priests, and imams from around Wisconsin and the country. Her vision, integrity, and service has brought great kavod, great honor and blessing to Beth Hillel and to the American rabbinate. And I'm honored to be a part of this effort to establish the Rabbi Dina Feingold Spiritual Legacy Fund.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Danson. Now I'd like to ask John Plouse to say a few words. John's family, as I mentioned, has, I think it's 5 generations, John, am I right? Membership in our congregation. And John's a past president of the congregation.
Thank you, Alice. As Alice mentioned, I've been a longtime member, actually for 82 years. My father, Frederick, was a member for his entire life of 80 years. And my grandfather, Louis, was one of the founders of the congregation, and you'll see his name on a plaque in the lobby of the temple. He was also first president of what was then the Board of Trustees. My father also served on the Board of Trustees. I served on what was called the Board of Trustees and later the Leadership Council. Our children and our grandchildren who don't live in Kenosha still remain members of Beth Hillel Temple. About 39 years ago, I was privileged to sit on a committee that would choose the next rabbi for Beth Hillel Temple. I recall that we met in the temple lounge at a long table with members on either side and Rabbi Feingold at the end. We were conducting an interview with her to decide if she would be our next rabbi. At that time, being one of the younger members of the committee, I thought that it would be a giant leap of faith for the older members to agree to hire a female rabbi. I also thought that if I was in her position, I would have been terrified during that interview. You know that we did hire her. And in the last 39 years, she has officiated for our family at baby namings, bat mitzvahs, confirmations, weddings, rededication of marriage ceremonies, and funerals. But there is one story that I can tell you that really sums it all up. When she was coming to officiate at her first Shabbat service, my wife Helen and I decided that we were going to be there, of course. And my father said that he was going to join us. And that surprised me a little bit because he was a bit of a chauvinist. My mother didn't work outside of the house. And I think that he felt that there were certain occupations that were for men only. So we were concerned about how he would react. The three of us went to services, sat in the center of the sanctuary looking directly at Rabbi Feingold throughout the entire service. From time to time, I looked over to my father to see his reaction, and there was none. When the service was over, Helen and I stood up and we looked at him, waiting for some response. He looked at both of us and he said, and I quote, "I make a motion that we give her a raise." And that to me was the shining moment that said that she was going to be our rabbi. He was going to love her, and so would the rest of the people, regardless of their age. And I think I can tell you that the rest is history. Thank you.
Thanks, John, for that wonderful story. And now I invite Lori Hawkins to join us, who is, as I mentioned, from Cush and has been our very dynamic community organizer for Cush.
Hi, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. It's a wonderful opportunity to just be able to express my gratitude and my gratitude in Rabbi Feingold for all that she's done for social justice in Kenosha. One of the things that I'd like to say is that the time that Rabbi Feingold was the president of Cush over the past 2 years, her term just ended. And then the co-president for several years before that were some very eventful times and trying times in Kenosha. Going back to 2020, when there was, the uprise and the civil unrest, Rabbi Feingold, along with other members of the Religious Leaders Caucus of Cush, were voices of reason. They were a steady presence. They made people feel safe, and they were there to calm things down, but to not ignore the issues at hand. And that was really one of the first times before I was even a part of Cush that I got to see Rabbi Feingold in action out in the community. And from what I saw and what she has always been known for is that she is grace under pressure. She is an impactful leader for young people to look up to, for peers to become close to, and to spread justice throughout. More recently, one of the issues that she led Cush through and your community through was the spate of anti-Semitic leafleting that happened for about 9 months. Again, instead of retreating, she came out strong to the community and helped Cush to be confident in knowing how we could help your faith community and to lift up the belief that we must all work together, and getting to know each other and what we go through is what's important. And I'm going to end with just a personal example. The first time I met Rabbi Feingold was before I was in Kush, and there was a Kush, I believe it was a immigration sort of rally out on the steps of the temple. And after it was over, I took my son up, who was about 9 at the time, just to say hello. And it had been a long day. It was probably 8:30 at night. And Rabbi Feingold said to him, "Have you ever been inside of a Jewish temple?" And he said, "No." And she gave him a tour. And I thought, this is somebody who truly is dedicated to making sure that we understand each other, that, you know, we become a community and full of interfaith relationships. So I'm grateful for her, and I'm glad that I got to be able to share that information about her tonight. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lori. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Rabbi Feingold to talk about what her thoughts about her legacy and what she hopes will be carrying forward.
Thank you to everyone who went before me. Thank you to Terry and Steve Kreines and whoever else was involved with the video. Thanks to Alice, to Todd, or I guess it was not Todd tonight, but he helped prepare this. It was Eileen, to John, to Rabbi Danson, and to Lori. It's very humbling to experience this moment. The amount of thought and creativity and energy that's been put into this announcement and all of the work up to this point is very impressive, and I'm very grateful. Thanks to those who have already been involved in raising funds for the Spiritual Legacy Fund, and to those who have already given. I don't know who chose the name of this fund, but for me, the word legacy hits just the right note. What I am most focused on as my retirement comes into sharper focus is that what we have built together here in the last 39 years will continue. While I will not be part of Beth Hillel's leadership anymore after June, my dream is that Beth Hillel continues to be a healthy, active, and diverse congregation that feels like a home and a real community well into its second century and beyond. Ideally, my legacy would be that together we have all set in place the key elements that will make this continuity possible. As your rabbi, I've tried to instill in our community the idea that a small congregation in a small community can really make a difference in the lives of its members, that it can serve as a basis for a strong Jewish identity and a springboard for each member's growth as a person and as a Jew. I've strived to ensure that Shabbat and holiday gatherings are spiritually meaningful, festive, and fun, to make our school a place that kids look forward to attending. I focused on Hebrew and prayer literacy for children and adults so that our members feel competent in Jewish worship wherever they go. I've encouraged individuals to find their own place in prayer and their own spiritual path, continually introducing new music and new prayer books and new styles of worship as times have changed. I've worked with our adult education committee to provide a variety of types of Jewish learning to appeal to different interests within the congregation. I've emphasized youth group, camp, and teen weekends to help our youth build a Jewish peer community beyond the walls of the temple. I've stressed that there is nothing that we can't do because we are small, be it trips to Israel, weekend retreats, or making the building accessible. I've tried to set an example and to inspire others to work to bring justice to our community and the world beyond by rooting ourselves in Jewish values. I have encouraged our community to become more inclusive by welcoming every person who identifies as a Jew or chooses Beth Hillel as their community, Jewish or not, whatever their life circumstances or background. There is nothing I want more for this congregation as it carries on into the future than to succeed, and to build on all that we have accomplished together. For me, the words of Ashreinu from the prayer book speak to who we are as a congregation now, and they describe my dream for our legacy into the future. Ashreinu, matov chelkenu, uma na'im goralenu, uma yafa yerushatenu. How fortunate are we, how good our portion, how pleasant our destiny, and how beautiful our legacy. Thank you again for honoring me this evening and for whatever you can do to further my dream and our shared legacy for decades to come.
Thank you, Rabbi Feingold. Thank you so much for your very moving words. As Rabbi Feingold alluded, in the past couple of months, behind the scenes, we have been speaking with a number of benefactors, listening to their stories of how Rabbi Feingold has impacted their lives and their passion for ensuring that her work continues to progress well into the future. These people, along with the leadership of Beth Hillel Temple, have generously pledged their support to our Rabbi Dina Feingold Spiritual Legacy Fund by collectively pledging as up to just before this meeting. You'll see this is an update to our slide, $281,000 to the fund. This is an incredible response as we formally announce the campaign tonight. Our goal is to raise $500,000. We're more than halfway there, which will provide resources to carry Rabbi's legacy many years into the future. And this is an opportunity for all of us who have benefited from her work over the years to be counted in celebrating her successes and wishing her well as she transitions into retirement. We ask that each of you make a pledge which is meaningful to you, whatever that amount is. Consider making a gift so that future generations can experience the same benefits of Beth Hillel congregation as we have. Your contribution will be a meaningful way to honor her and to ensure the continuity of the temple's vital work. Every contribution, regardless of size, can make a difference in sustaining the temple's mission and Rabbi Feingold's legacy. Thank you for your consideration. Making a pledge and or contributing to the fund is easy. Go to www.bethhillel.net and you'll find the blue donate button up at the top right-hand corner of the homepage of the website. Follow the link to learn more about the Spiritual Legacy Fund, and in turn click to a link to make your pledge or your payment. We will endeavor to answer any questions you put in the chat tonight, either by email or by posting answers on the website. And please do reach out either to me, Alice Thompson, my co-chair, Steve Kreines, with any questions or concerns that you have, or to the rabbi or any member of the steering committee to answer any questions you might have, or just to share your stories about how Rabbi Feingold has impacted your life directly or how she has impacted the community. Lastly, if you'd like to help in planning the celebrations, please contact Bunny Stoops, who we can help you get Bunny's email if you don't happen to have it. And again, thank you ever so much. All of you were so pleased with the turnout this evening, and look forward to celebrating with you in the months to come. The end. Thank you.